we just talked about spiritual health affecting the body. So what about mental health?
Yeah. I mean, same thing, right?
Yeah.
So if we're body, soul, and spirit, and we have mental health, obviously it can impact our temple.
Okay.
Yeah, or our body. Yeah.
So, and then I guess this all the same things of if I refuse to take medication to help my mental health which affects my body, is that bad?
It's not sin.
Okay.
To refuse to take medication or to refuse medical help, it's not sin.
Okay.
Okay. But can it be harmful for you and for others? Is a question I would ask. Okay. Right? Is like, so if I'm not taking my medication for mental health, am I at risk of harming myself or harming others?
Okay.
Yeah. And or and that's a really hard one, because some people just don't want to take certain medications based because of how it actually does make them feel, and so this is I'm very sensitive to this mental health issue. And if I can say this too, I think in the church, this gets I don't think it gets near the acknowledgement that it should.
What?
Mental health.
Okay.
I think in some of the circles that I have ran in, it's like, oh, you're feeling depressed or you're feeling anxiety, just pray more.
Mm-hmm.
Just read the Bible more. And that's not always the answer. And I think we've not taken mental health seriously enough. Like, no, I've got anxiety. Why do I have anxiety? Me praying more, me reading the Bible more is not going to just magically make that okay. Trying to figure out the whys behind that. And then what do I need? Sometimes it's medication. Sometimes it's just going to counseling and getting to the root cause of it. And so I just want to, in talking about mental health, I just want to take the moment to say, if you're struggling with mental health and the church has not been kind to you or not been understanding of you, then I would say, please forgive the church. Because I do think we have erred too often in that way. And that we do need to give space for people to be able to say, I'm having mental health issues. Can you walk this journey with me? Can you be a community with me? And not that I, as a pastor, even feel qualified to help them through all that, right? So I'll help them get connected to a Christian counselor or those kind of things. And if medication is on the table, like, hey, we would think maybe this can help. And in the midst of us trying to also figure out what's going on, like, I never liked the counseling that just gives medication and goes, well, that'll take care of it. It's more like, here's medication, and now let's try this will help you get to a correct baseline of how you should be feeling. And then that will help us as we try to navigate what's led you to this point of mental health crisis, or mental health challenges. And then in the midst of that, maybe over time you find yourself starting to wean off that medication as you begin getting the healing that you need in your own soul. And so I just think that, if someone's listening to the podcast, I want to make sure that you're hearing from me, I guess, as a pastor, to say, I'm sorry if the church has not been loving and kind, understanding toward you in your mental health challenges or journey, and that there is definitely a space and a place in the church we can grow in that area, and then we've got to create these safe spaces where people feel like they can say, hey, this is what's going on. It's interesting, and I think you and I've even talked about this before. Like, we pray for physical things all the time in our church, but we never bring up other things like this. We're like, oh, well, someone's having a procedure, someone's having a surgery, someone, fell and broke an arm, whatever it may be. And we pray for those things, talk about those things, but then we don't also talk and pray about the things that are going on in a mental health challenge. And I think we probably should be much more intentional to do that, while also understanding that people tend to be more private about those things and don't necessarily want to share with everybody, but I would hope that they would share with somebody.